Hello students, welcome to Recitals in-Depth. Herein, we will cover the Defense and Security edition of the June 2024 current affair topics in detail. The broader themes which we are going to cover are as follows: Women in Defense Forces, Cybersecurity, Money Laundering, Military Exercises, and Defense Architecture. So this is the index for the month of June related to defense and security. We will be analyzing each of these topics with respect to the prelims as well as the mains. And we will be seeing some previous year questions and practice questions. For us to understand these topics in depth, Indian Navy gets its first woman helicopter pilot. So this news is related to Sub-Lieutenant Anamika B. Rajiv, who has been commissioned as the first female helicopter pilot in the Indian Navy. This news is important because it talks about the gender parity between men and women in the armed forces. At one hand, we talk about the affirmative action which is needed for women. On the other hand, we also have the right to equality and non-discrimination. So fundamental rights, and in that also special provisions for women. So both of these things are there. And the armed forces have a more violence related job, which is traditionally seen as being done by men. So these are the values which come into conflict. So we will see this in detail as to what is the current situation of women in the armed forces. Now, the facts related to the hiring of women in the forces are as follows. In the Indian Army, women are allowed for permanent commissions in various units. Now we need to note that it is not saying in all, because they are not allowed in infantry and armored corps. Infantry will mean what? The foot soldiers. On the other hand, the armored corps are basically your tank. The tanks and the foot soldier, or basically the more combatant role, are not provided to women. But they are allowed in artillery. Artillery you can understand as the modern cannons, the advanced cannons, as you can see in the howitzer. So all of these things are artillery. And army aviation and military police. Army aviation means army will also have its own helicopters. Military police means in those areas which are controlled by the military or which are under military occupation, there will not be normal police. They will be having military police. For example, in the cantonment also, or in areas near the border, or if any crime is done by the armed officials. Now in Indian Navy, you will see that women are allowed in all except the submarine specialization. So except the submarine forces, they can be permanently commissioned in all other. When you look at Indian Air Force, they give equal status. Women will be there in all streams, and they are also can take up combat roles at par with men. So among the three services, Air Force seems to be the giving largest liberal entry to women. Now, having seen this, we will see what will be the questions related to this. There are certain previous year questions related to women and issues related in politics. So what can we learn from those? What are the continued challenges for women in India against time and space? So through this, we are inspired that such a question can come. What are the continued challenges for women in the armed forces? So in this, please remember to discuss the following 3 points. First is the societal challenge. Societal challenge as in when a woman takes up a senior position or she becomes an officer and the troops are male. They may be traditionally accustomed to having women in an inferior position, or because the job is related to violence, the societal adjustment may not be there to accept women as your superior officer. Another is a psychological challenge, physiological challenge also. Physiological as in during the time of childbirth, pregnancy, women may not be allowed to serve during that period because of the health and the health of the child. So this will be another challenge. Another is the family related pressures. So these are your three areas where you will definitely explain in certain questions. Looking at the next practice question, which is derived from this PYQ. Discuss the desirability of greater representation to women in higher judiciary to ensure diversity, equity and inclusiveness. Now, instead of higher judiciary, we can have armed forces. Discuss the desirability of greater representation to women in armed forces and particularly in combat roles to ensure diversity, equality and inclusiveness. So these are the type of questions you will be expected to answer in your mains examination. You can give a reply related to these in the comment sections. Just briefly write down what points you will give in the questions. India's first joint doctrine for cyberspace operations. So this is in the news because the Chief of Defence Staff has stated that cyber warfare has come up as the most crucial aspect of modern warfare. On one hand, we have China, which is giving more and more impetus to cyber weapons. It is creating cyber weapons. On the other hand, there is India. The defense forces wanted a tri-services command in 2019, but they got simply a tri-services agency. Instead of a command, whereas they are developing weapons also on those lines. So look at the disparity which we have in these areas. And India is seeing that now we have got, after 5 years of that request, a joint doctrine. What will this joint doctrine do? That it will guide the three forces to carry out operations together in a coordinated manner. Now we will first understand what is cyber warfare to capture this in depth. Now cyber warfare is a situation where there are computer or networks or electronic systems computer, network or electronic system which are being used for military purpose and this purpose can be either attack or defense. So either offensive or defensive. So it can be either you want to attack someone else or you want to defend yourself. If either of these situations are there, it will be known as cyber warfare. So the military purpose, attack and defense involving computers, electronic systems or networks. So what are the types of cyber warfare or cyber attacks or cyber threats which we see? First will be the cyber terrorism. What happens in this is that the attack will be by a terrorist entity, terrorist organization It means it will be unprovoked attack on your critical infrastructure. And they will be attacking your critical infrastructure. So this is known as a cyber terrorism, because they will be furthering their terrorist ideology. Next is the cyber fraud. These are mostly for commercial purposes or money purposes. So they fraud you by giving suspicious links, etc., and they may take your credit card details or transfer money. Next is espionage. This basically means spying purposes. Espionage is spying. You can get access to the device of other military personnel and take sensitive data. Bullying basically is done to individuals. What happens in this is cyberbullying, when you troll a particular person repeatedly, and they may also lead to suicides of the person. So these three are basically organization centric, but bullying will happen with a specific person, not with organization. So having seen this, what is cyber warfare or cyber security, what can be the systems, what it is, we will look into the matter with respect to India. Now, the analysis in depth with respect to vulnerability of India. What is the vulnerability? Vulnerability means how prone we are to attacks. So the first thing is, in 2023, according to data, it says that per week there were more than 2,000 attacks on India. Also, this makes India the second highest attacked country in the Asia Pacific. Second highest in Asia Pacific after Taiwan. Why is this happening? Because we have our neighborhood, China is there. China has made huge developments in this regard, and it carries lot of cyber warfare technology and specialization. So one of the biggest challenges which we face in this regard are that we lack human resource. We may have the best supply of software developers, but in terms of cyber security, the expertise is lacking. Another challenge is that we are dependent on import of hardware. So if the hardware is imported, then the system may already be compromised. The device may already be having certain chips or setups which can leak the information. Third is that most of our servers of MNCs which are operating in India are located mostly in Singapore. So servers outside India. And lastly, another challenge is, which is balancing it with the right to privacy. So these are the basic challenges. And what are the threats? So the biggest threat here is China, which is creating cyber weapons, as I have already told you, based on quantum technology. Quantum technology. So quantum technology is much more powerful than the usual binary system computers which we use. You will study this, or you must have studied this in the science and tech section also. The speed of quantum computers are much higher than the present supercomputers. So China is creating these quantum technologies. And second threat which we have is that our doctrines are outdated. Outdated doctrines and protocols. So these are your threats. So based on this, we have taken certain steps. These steps will compromise the most important part of your answer. If you do not know what the steps Government of India is taking, you will not be able to give any suggestions as well. Or if some suggestions are asked to you, you can be inspired by these steps which are already taken and then give your answer. So CERT is Computer Emergency Response Team. IN is India, short form from India. CERT is Computer Emergency Response Team. It is the nodal agency. It is the nodal agency means it is the central point, or it is the most important agency in the early warning. So you can say in terms of detection, to detect that a cyber attack has taken place. Secondly, to respond, to detect and respond, which is the nodal agency, the CERT. Cyber Surakshit Bharat is an initiative of the Niti Aayog and NEGD, National E-Governance Department, where they will raise awareness. So this is simply an awareness exercise. Cyber Swachhta Kendra, they will be providing you with free tools. These tools will detect malware. You can take your device, either your phone or your laptop, tablet, whatever device you use, to these Kendra, and they will give you tools. Basically, they will download a software, they will check the device whether there is some suspicious malware in it or not. Then you have the National Cyber Security Policy. So that is the overall policy of India, which will create a ecosystem where our cyber infrastructure, cyber policies, all of these are secure. Next we have the NCIIPC. What is this? N is National Critical Information Infrastructure, and PC is Protection Center. Protection Center. So it is the national means at the level of center, or for India. For India, it is that protection center which will take care of the critical information infrastructure. Critical information infrastructure means that infrastructure which can be basically servers, which will have all the details of your bank accounts throughout the country. Servers which can have all the access to defense related documents. So all of these will be critical information infrastructure. And the National Critical Information Infrastructure Protection Center will make sure that such sensitive information, critical information which can harm the stability of the country are protected. So this is the work of NCIIPC. Then we have the I4C, Indian Cyber Crime Coordination Center. So all of these agencies or all of these plans will be coordinating with the help of I4C. Then CERT-FIN, like we have seen CERT in Computer Emergency Response Team, CERT-FIN is that arm of CERT-IN which is focusing on financial services. For example, it will help RBI, SEBI, IRDAI, etc. to ensure that there are no cyber attacks or frauds. Then we have I3C, Indian Common Certification Scheme, Common Criteria Certification Scheme, which will certify the machines which are coming imported or any machines which is developed. So certification will be done through I3CS. Now having understood this, we will look at the questions. So this is a previous year question. We don't need to be inspired by it because it is appropriate. It says, keeping in view India's internal security, analyze the impact of cross-border cyber attacks. Also discuss the defensive measures against these sophisticated attacks. This is asked in 2021. So these things which we have discussed right now can be a part of your good answer. So you can give this answer in a structured way in the comments section below. India achieves an outstanding outcome in FATF mutual evaluation. Now what does it say? That FATF is the premier organization in the world related to terror financing and money laundering. To prevent these two major crimes in the world, FATF, Financial Action Task Force, is there. In the mutual evaluation means that members will evaluate each other's work. So in that, India has secured outstanding outcome remark. It has been placed in the regular follow-up category. So as we can see, FATF is there. So we need to first understand what is this body. Now FATF, headquartered in Paris, it is to combat money laundering in the world. And it was including terror finance in 2001. So the history is that it was created by the G7 members in 1989, and later on further additions were made. India became a member in 2010. Current list of members can be seen, but there are 39 jurisdictions. Not saying countries but jurisdictions, because Financial Action Task Force will be taking care of money laundering and terror financing. So this will require not a sovereign perspective or a political perspective, but economic units. So for example, the Gulf Cooperation Council and the European Commission will be considered a single entity for economic purposes. So there are these 39 major members, you can see, and India became full member in 2010. Initially it was an observer in 2006. So this is about the FATF. Now what happens in this mutual evaluation, we can understand this. Now what is this process, or what is this thing called as mutual evaluation? Now mutual evaluation basically means that you are evaluating something or assessing something, what the other country has done. Mutual means that together the members will assess. No external person is called, no external agency is called, but together the countries will work. So how does this work? First, there is an expert team created. So these expert teams, so this expert team will be, member will be nominated by individual countries. So there are 39 jurisdictions there, so there can be members in it. These will be nominated by the member countries, and they will see how the work is going in different countries. So what happens in this is that this team will see how the other members are complying with international standards. So whether your local laws or the national laws are in line with the international standards or not. So this is the work of this expert team. Now it will check for two types of compliances. One is the technical and second is the effective. Technical means whether you have proper laws, bodies, courts, rules, regulations, which are able to curb these things. And effective means what is the actual outcome? Are you able to get people convicted? Are you able to see that these things are not happening again? So this is the effective compliance. Technical compliance means that you have created a law. What happens is sometimes there may be a situation that the law is there. For example, there is a law that you will not jump the red light, but how often do you see people jumping the red light? So technical compliance can be there, that a law is made, there will be hefty fines, etc. But people are not following that, or the country is not interested in making that outcome. So effective will mean what is the outcome. Technical means whether you have taken a step or not. After these things are there, the country will submit its performance. See, these are the laws, etc. to the committee. Submission will happen to the committee. Then this committee will evaluate on the basis of 40 points or recommendations. 40 recommendations. So there will be 40 points on which it will analyze whether this country is doing good or not. Then this team will go for site visit. Means then they will visit the country to see what is happening in the actual sense. This is what this expert team will do. So these collected team from various countries will first see whether you are compliant with the rules, then they will see whether you have laws, then there are outcomes, they will see the submission made by you, they will check it through 40 points, then they will visit your country. Finally they will declare, see, this is our finding. So in this finding they have given India one of the highest rating which is possible. So India has done very well. So in the findings they have shown some areas where India has done very well. So it says that India has done very well in terms of the laws, regulations, compliances, that is very good. So regulations, laws, compliance, in this area India has done one of the best because the most stringent punishments are there. Then secondly, India has done very well in terms of the international cooperation. So whenever a country is asking for any data or whenever any country needs help to curb these malpractices, India has given very prompt response. It has also helped to train other countries. But it also says that there are certain weaknesses. What are the weaknesses? Prosecution delays are there. So we are seeing the findings right now. This is the positive finding and this is the negative things which were seen. There is a prosecution delay. It means that the courts are taking very much time. They should finish off the case quickly. This is what the report is saying. Secondly, it also, the report says that India also needs to work on the not-for-profit segment. It is a bit weak on the NGOs side. So usually we see a lot of hue and cry that the NGOs are being attacked by the government, but the FATF, in which all the countries of the world are present, it says that PMLA is basically done by the ED. So it is saying that the ED is doing an excellent job. It is one of the most outstanding work done by any country. It is also saying, but it is not doing sufficient work on NGOs. So this is the finding of the report. Now, it also praised certain steps taken by the government, for example, promoting digital economy, Jan Dhan, Aadhaar, mobile linking, all of these things have been appreciated. What will be the impact or the outcome of all of this? Now, the impact or the overall analysis which we can make out of this is, first, that India is being displayed as a resilient economy. Resilient here will mean stable. It is a good economy. And secondly, you all must have used the UPI, the payments which we do. This will help to internationalize the UPI as well, because we know that India is following these guidelines very stringently. So there will be no issue for other countries to internationalize the UPI. So this is our analysis in depth for this. Now we will see a practice question. So these are the two previous year questions which can directly inspire you to write. Discuss how emerging technologies and globalization contribute to money laundering. Elaborate measures to tackle the problem of money laundering both at national and international levels. So measures, few are suggested, FATF, what the government of India has also done. So these things are important. Analyze the complexity and intensity of terrorism, its causes, linkages and obnoxious nexus suggest measures required to be taken to eradicate the menace of terrorism. So for the first part, this analysis will be useful. For example, complexity and intensity, linkages, obnoxious nexus. So terror financing is something which you can learn from this, what we have studied. Bail in money laundering cases. Now this topic is also related to the previous one which we have studied, very closely related, but this is more focusing on the domestic affairs. We had recently seen that the Chief Minister of Delhi was initially provided a bail in the money laundering cases by the ED, the accusations by the ED, and then later on the bail was denied. So this is the overall case, and the Supreme Court has seen a lot of scrutiny of its decision, saying that the test which you are applying to give bail is very strict. It should be a bit lenient. What is that test? The twin test. We will see what is the twin test for bail in ED cases, and this has come up a lot in the news. So for this we will need to see what are the acts which are taking hold of a person when he is accused of money laundering. Now PMLA, Prevention of Money Laundering Act, and the bail which is provided therein. PMLA is of money laundering. Now, in the main objective of this act, to prevent and eradicate money laundering. It will prevent money laundering. Secondly, whatever property which is coming out, or a person has created some property, this is the first thing. Second is if any property is arising because of this money laundering, or income made from money laundering will also be confiscated. Property arising out of this. And the third is any incidental matter or any other matter related to money laundering, other cases, other matters, but these should be related to money laundering. Now this is what is concerned with the act. Now there is a particular section which is of our interest in this discussion. Section 45, as the section talks about bail in money laundering cases. What will be the bail? Procedure to get a bail. Now bail means you are accused of something. For example, I am accused of murder. Then I will go to the court, please allow me a bail, because there is a presumption of innocence. Presumption of innocence means that not guilty until proven. So innocent until proven guilty. Now what happens in such a situation in the normal case of jurisprudence, that a person cannot be held behind the bars until he is proven that I have committed the murder. Till the time it is not proven, till the time I am not convicted, I should not be in the jail as per my fundamental rights. If somebody says that I have committed a murder, can the police put me in jail? It should have proper evidence. Till the time that evidence is not there, you cannot keep me in the jails. So for that process, if this inquiry is going on, police investigation is going on, the prosecution is going on, till that time I can say, please let me go. It is not proven right now. I will cooperate with the court and the police, and I will not interfere in the case. So there is a presumption of innocence that I have not done the murder. But in the case of money laundering, what happens is, as soon as you apply for a bail, you cannot get the bail until unless the public prosecutor has heard it or replied by public prosecutor. Public prosecutor is your government's advocate, the advocate which is representing the government. It is known as PP, public prosecutor. Till the time public prosecutor does not reply to your presentation of bail, till that time you cannot, the court cannot say, okay, please give him the bail. This is the law. public prosecutor should be given a right to represent the part of the government. Next is, in that situation, if this public prosecutor is able to justify to the court that the person is not innocent. Not innocent means that he has done something is not to be proved, but he has not done anything also. If that person has not been proven that he has not done the money laundering, till that time the public prosecutor can argue to cancel your bail. There should be proper proof given by the accused. In this case, Arvind Kejriwal should be in a position to give a definite proof that I have not done this, because there is no presumption of innocence. Here it is presumption of guilt. Presumption of guilt means that it will be assumed that you have done the crime. So in this case, the second thing is that I will not be able to interfere in the proceedings, and I will not carry any crime, not do any crime, no crime when I am outside. And in this particular case, what happened when Arvind Kejriwal was released on bail, there was another controversy related to Swati Maliwal. But when you have giving bail in this, the second is that the person will not do any crime when he is outside. So this controversy also erupted, and he is not innocent. These two things were not proven, but court said ki, okay, you can go and do for the election coverage, etc. You can go. So all of these things give very stringent condition that in the court of law it should be proven that I have not done the money laundering. I should have proper documents. No, I was not there. If they are not found, if it is inconclusive, then also you cannot go out. So this is the law. Now what are the issues related to this? Issue related to this is the Nitesh Tarachand Shah case. Nitesh Shah case of 2017. Nitesh Tarachand Shah versus Union of India. This person was caught in the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. He said that this whole provision where the Money Laundering Act is saying you can do this, you can hold me without, you can change the jurisprudence and then also you can hold me inside, is unconstitutional. So in this case, what happened? The court said that it is unconstitutional. It is unconstitutional. Person should not be allowed to give that twin test. What is that twin test which I told you earlier? The public prosecutor will have this, that you are totally not guilty. There should be proper evidence. So unconstitutional is what? The twin test. Twin test. First is innocence. Innocence beyond doubt. Not done anything, beyond doubt. Secondly, the no repeat offense, no offense outside. This is the twin test. Now in this Nitesh Tarachand Shah case, the court said that this twin test is unconstitutional and the government cannot continue to do this. This happened in 2017. In 2018, the government of India brought out the finance bill or a money bill, which is a money bill, and it's put in this condition back. This twin test was put back in the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, PMLA Act, through an amendment. So now this amendment, the court gave the decision and said it is unconstitutional. The parliament brought this back through the money bill. Then we have the another case, Vijay Madan Lal Chaudhary case. Here this person said that this is unconstitutional, they have brought it again, so I want you to strike this down again. In this case, the Supreme Court overruled the previous judgment. The Nitesh Shah judgment was overruled. It said whatever we said last time is not valid now. Because the government is very seriously looking at money laundering, we will accept it. Parliament is the sovereign. It is representing democracy. If the parliament feels that money laundering is very essential, means curbing money laundering is very essential for the safety and security of the people, sovereignty of the country, safeguarding national security, we will not say that it is unconstitutional. So this time the court said the twin test is valid. Now this is the overall situation. So what will be the analysis in depth? When you will be going in for the analysis in depth, there will be legal issues. The legal issues is the first Nitesh Shah case. We have the 2018 amendment, and thirdly we have the Vijay Tarachand Chaudhary case, so which we have seen in the previous slide. Now what are the issues or the outcomes of this? Pro and cons, or basically those who are with this and those who are against this, and what are they saying? Pro side is being taken by the government. The con side is being taken by the people who are accused and also the legal fraternity. Or we can say the activist, fundamental right activists, FR groups. These people are saying that how can you curb the liberty of a person who is being charged of a financial offense. Money laundering basically means a financial theft. It will be falling in that economic offense category. How are you equating money laundering? Is money laundering equal to terror? Under which situation can you say that Arjumal Kasab is as dangerous as a money launderer? Is this a correct statement? So this is what they are saying. Another thing is that the twin test for bail application has been brought in with the help of a money bill. So is it valid that a money bill can take away such a big section of fundamental rights of a person? Can you change the whole system, the way justice is governed, with the help of a money bill? So these are the arguments given by the people who are against this, but who are pro this. And what the government is saying, the government says that the people who are involved in this crime are very calculative, rich, powerful, resourceful, educated. Such people should not be spared. As soon as they are left outside, they will again go and play with the laws. So this is what the overall situation the government is saying. And money laundering is directly or indirectly linked with terror. You cannot play with national security in this manner. We need to secure the rights of the people. We need to provide them proper security. So we cannot play with the security of the people. This is what the government is saying. The other side is saying it is okay that you want to take away the rights, but is it same? Also, they have suggested that these draconian provisions are seen in the issues which are related to Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, or seen in the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act, where bail is given under such stringent situations. So we should not be equating these two things. So this is what their overall argument is. So what happens under such a situation? That a person can get bail under section 436 of the CRPC, which says that when a person has served half of the sentence, he will be allowed to be given bail. Half of the sentence means PMLA says, Prevention of Money Laundering says that the person will go in jail for 7 years. Now, if this person has done half of the sentence, means 3.5 years, then we will release him if that thing is not proven till that time. Okay, so this is the overall situation, and this is in continuation with the previous one, so you can have a particular idea with respect to the question asked will be similar. Military exercises, these are very important for the practical working of the armed forces because they will help you in the technological awareness. Technological awareness as well as the combat readiness of the forces can be judged with the help of military exercises. You can see what are the international best practices, what you can learn from other forces. So all of these things will be there in the military exercises, and more importantly, questions are continuously asked. So some of the few exercises which we can discuss here are, first is the Tarang Shakti. This is the Indian Air Force first multinational air exercise. Multinational means more than one country will be there, and it is India's Air Force's first such exercise. So this is very important for the perspective of your prelims, and there it will be done in 2 phases. In the first phase, the southern sector, the exercise will be in the southern sector. In the second one, it will be in the western sector. Countries participating: Australia, France, Germany, Spain, EU, UAE, UK, USA, among others, because it is expected by August more countries may also accept the invitation. Red flag. Red flag is not done by India, but this is done by USA. It is also a similar multinational air exercise. The Tarang Shakti is inspired by the red flag. Okay. Now it is going to be beyond visual range combat exercises. Beyond visual range means that you are sitting in the aircraft, you can see up to a particular point. But in this exercise, we will also try to combat beyond that range. So that is the beyond visual range. You can use missiles to fire at that location. Now, this will be large force engagements, and offensive counter air and air defense situations will be there in such exercises. In this, Singapore, UK, Netherlands, Germany, India and USA is there because USA is the host. Next up, we have the Rim of the Pacific, RIMPAC. USA's multinational biennial means 2 years. Every 2 years we will be having this exercise. It is the world's largest international maritime exercise, and it is held in Hawaii. It was held in Hawaii. India participated in it, and India participated with the help of INS Satpura and also the P-81 maritime patrol aircraft. Maritime patrol aircraft means that you are doing a surveillance through the skies, which ship is located in which area. It will also have a radar to see what is the location of other ships. This will be the role, and the participants are 29 in this. So a lot of number of participants are there in this. Mostly it is you can say anti-China, or basically a balance of power towards China. Not anti-China would not be the most appropriate, but you can see the orientation because USA is leading. It is happening in the maritime domain. So to put pressure on China to follow the international law and behave like a responsible nation state. So having seen this, we can see why this is important, because certain questions which will be there. In 2024, exercise Mitra Shakti was asked. So this year, this question was there in your prelims. So please read this and answer the question in the comment section. Lieutenant General Upendra Dwivedi takes command as the Chief of Army Staff. So this is the exact news, and this is what we need to know in this also. See, now usually the senior most army officer or the vice chief is taken as the next in line. And why this is important? Because this year in prelims we have had the questions. This was saying the duties of Chief of Defence Staff. So we never know whether such a parallel question can come for the Chief of Army Staff. Then also we have seen the question related to the rankings. This is also in the 2024 paper. Please give your answers related to these questions in the comment section. And with this, we have completed the analysis in depth for defense. I hope this will be useful, and please do participate in the comment section with your answers. Thank you.